Finger Man wants to be your friend. I've always been an avid hiker, finding solace in the solitude of the woods, the fresh air, the sounds of nature, the challenge of the trails. It's always been a source of peace and joy for me. So when I had a few days off work, I decided to head out to Crescent Lake, a remote spot nestled deep in the forest, known for its pristine beauty and tranquility. I arrived at the trailhead early in the morning, excited for a few days of solitude. The hike to the lake was about 10 miles, and I planned to set up camp near the water and spend my time fishing, reading, and enjoying the peace and quiet. The trail was challenging but rewarding, with stunning views and the comforting sounds of nature surrounding me. I reached Crescent Lake by mid-afternoon. The sight took my breath away. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the towering trees and the sky above. I set up my tent, gathered some firewood, and spent the rest of the day exploring the area. As the sun set, I built a small fire, cooked a simple meal, and settled in for the night. The first night was uneventful, and I slept soundly. The next day, I decided to take my small inflatable raft out onto the lake. The water was so clear that I could see fish swimming below. And I spent a few peaceful hours casting my line and enjoying the calm. As the sun began to dip, I noticed something strange. The fish had disappeared, and the water around me seemed to darken, as if a shadow was moving beneath the surface. Curiosity got the better of me, and I peered over the edge of the raft, trying to see what was causing the change. Suddenly, something large and dark moved just beneath the water, sending ripples across the surface. My heart raced as I tried to make sense of what I was seeing. It was too big to be a fish, much too big. Then it surfaced. At first, I thought it was a log, but then I saw it had eyes, cold, black eyes that seemed to stare right through me. Its head was reptilian, covered in scales, and it had a long, sinuous body that disappeared into the depths. It watched me for a moment, then began to circle the raft. Panic set in. I paddled frantically, trying to get back to shore, but the creature followed, keeping pace with me. It occasionally dipped below the surface, only to reappear closer, its eyes never leaving me. My mind raced with fear and confusion. What was this thing? How could it be here, in this lake? I finally made it to shore, my hands shaking so badly I could barely pull the raft out of the water. I stumbled back to my campsite, every rustle in the trees making me jump. I knew I couldn't stay, not with that thing out there. I packed up as quickly as I could, my eyes constantly darting to the water's edge, half expecting to see those eyes watching me again. The hike back to the trailhead was a blur of fear and adrenaline. I didn't stop to rest, driven by the need to put as much distance as possible between me and that lake. By the time I reached my car, I was exhausted, both physically and mentally. I sat in the driver's seat, trying to calm my racing heart, but the image of that creature's eyes was burned into my mind. I reported what I saw to the park rangers, but they were skeptical. They suggested it might have been a large fish or an overactive imagination. But I know what I saw. It was real, and it was terrifying. I've been an outdoorsman my whole life, but I've never encountered anything like that. I haven't been back to Crescent Lake since that day, and I don't think I ever will. The woods, once a place of peace and solace, now hold a lingering sense of dread for me. The memory of that creature, its cold eyes and dark presence, haunts me still. I've traded my hiking boots for safer pastimes, too afraid to venture back into the wilderness I once loved so much. Who can be your friend? The Finger Man can.